Hi everybody, it's Kaitlin again, the circus director for Shakespeare and Clark Park's production of Pericles. As you know, there's supposed to be a lot of really exciting spectacle in this summer's production in one way or another. However, what I'm going to talk about today is one of the most important things that any acrobat or performer does before any show or exercise, and that's a warm-up. Enjoy. Now the first thing we're going to start with is a joint warm-up. It's really important to warm up your joints because that's going to get the synovial fluid going, and that's what provides the cushion in between your joints. So the first thing we're going to do is an ankle rollout. We're going to do that by writing your name with your toes. A little bit of an ab workout here too, because we have to make sure to balance on one foot. And sometimes it can be a little bit hard to think of your name while you're talking at the same time. And go ahead and switch feet when you're done. Go ahead and do your first, middle, and last name. And the higher you lift your foot, the harder this is going to be. So make sure to keep it lower to make it be a little easier, and a little bit higher if you want it more difficult. Now, we're gonna warm up our knees. Little knee circles. Every time I do this, I think hands on your knees, hands on your knees, hands on your knees, hands on your knees. Go the other direction. Now for a hip rollout. We're going to start by gently tucking our pelvic bone underneath just a little bit. So we're going to squeeze our bums and then go around in a circle. Bend your knees just a little bit and go the other direction. Now we're going to do the rib cage here. So we want to isolate just in the rib cage. Don't let your whole body go with you. Start by bringing your rib cage forward, then to the side, then back, then to the other side. Now circle it out. Don't forget to breathe. Breathing is really important. If you forget, it's kind of bad. Let's go the other direction. We're going to start by starting forward again, to the left, back, to the right, just the rib cage, and circle it out. And now for the shoulders. We're going to start by shrugging them up nice and tight towards our ears. We want to get them as high as possible. It looks super weird, but that's okay. We're just warming them up. And drop. Again, up and drop. And up and drop. One more time, up and drop. And now we're going to do full circles. Back, two. This should be nice and juicy. It's a really good moment for you to think about what your muscles are doing and if you have any sore or tight spots. And you can take an extra second there if you need to. And let's go to the front. Now we're gonna do little arm circles like this. So I'm gonna flex my palms nice and hard back towards my forearms and do little circles to the front. I'm gonna keep my shoulder blades back and down, so again, my whole body isn't going. I'm staying nice and still. And now to the back. Then we're gonna go ahead and do our elbows. So little windmills. I love these, they look very silly. And other direction. And then we're going to do wrists. So I want you to make little dinosaur hands. Yep, so we're going to pinch our fingers together. We've got little dino hands, and then we're going to do circles. You should feel your palms squeezing together to hold your fingers in. Go the other direction. Hey, don't forget to breathe. That's also really important. And the last thing we're going to do here as part of our joint warm-up is to warm up our head and neck. So to do that, I'm going to drop my chin towards my chest, then let my left ear go to my left shoulder, extend my head nice and long, so I'm not dropping it back. I'm going to stay nice and long through the crown of the head, then right ear to right shoulder, and I go ahead and circle it out. Same thing as before, we want to make sure that we're keeping our abs active when we're standing up nice and tall. So we're not circling all the way around, just right here. And go the other direction. that's our joint warm-up. The next thing we're gonna do is a full body muscular warm-up. You're gonna wanna have something like a yoga mat, so you're not gonna slip and slide all over the place because you will be putting your hands on the floor. Make sure you do that joint warm-up first because we are gonna be using our wrists and pressing down into the floor. So, on your mat, go ahead and start at the very top. Stand up nice and tall and imagine that you're pushing the balls of your feet down into the ground so hard that you can almost lift your toes up and activate through your tummy. So imagine that you're sucking your belly button up in towards your spine. Nice and tall. Nice deep breath. And then as you exhale, let your chin drop towards your chest. And imagine that you're peeling your spine off a wall, one vertebra at a time. Nice and slow. And as you go over, go ahead and let your hands and your head and your neck and your shoulders let go. Nice and loose. Give your head a little shake. No. And nod yes. That's one of my favorite things to do. Quick little swing right here. Now, if you can't touch the floor, that's okay. You're going to get as low as you can, and we're going to go from there. So from here, get as low as you can. Put your hands down onto the ground, and we're going to walk out into a plank. For a plank, you want to make sure that your shoulder, your elbow, and your wrist are all stacked in one straight line. We're only going to stay here for a second because this is a warm-up. So from here, I'm going to push back to a down dog. That means that now my tailbone is facing up towards the ceiling, and I should feel a little stretch in my hamstrings. I want to keep my eyeballs up in between my palms, so I'm looking up towards my hands and reaching my heels down towards the ground. From here, I push back into plank, and then I'm going to walk back in as close as I can to that forward fold position. From here, I'm going to reverse that roll down that I did before, starting by bending my knees just a tiny little bit, a micro bend, and then I'm going to shift my tailbone. So now my sits bones are pointing towards the floor, and I'm going to roll up one vertebra at a time until I'm all the way back up to standing. And the last thing is my head. I should be nice and tall, super, super tall, maybe even a little taller than before, which I don't really need because I'm already very tall. We're going to do that one more time. So again, chin to chest, roll down through the spine, keep that belly button in, shoulders nice and loose, get as low as you can. And when you find that spot, go ahead and give yourself a nod yes, shake your head no. Take a minute, walk those hands out to a plank, making sure that your elbow and shoulder and wrist are all stacked in one straight line. Nice and high in the toes. We're gonna push back on our hands to a down dog. Now our tailbone is pointing up towards the ceiling, lengthening through the back of the legs, reaching the heels down towards the ground. Gaze is up in between the palms. And then I'm gonna curl back up to a plank. Hold here for just 1 second, and then push back to my forward fold, rolling up, using that micro bend in the knees, tucking the tailbone, active belly button, stacking the spine. Last thing up is the head. So that's our muscular warm-up. I'm going to go ahead and do a couple of those in a row so you can watch, and then we'll move on from there. So the last part of our workout is going to be the cardio portion. This might be the most difficult, but it's also really, really worth it. So we're going to do 6 different exercises. We're going to loop through them 3 times. So the first one is just jogging in place. Nice and easy, nothing too crazy. You're just going to jog in place. And the first time you do this, you want to make sure that you're going at a little bit of a walking pace. The second time, you're going to run a little faster. And the third is a full-out sprint. Now the second exercise is going to be high knees. So I'll turn to the side so you can see. I'm going to keep my hands out in front of me, and then I want to bring my knees up towards my chest, like this, using my abs to lift my legs. So as I'm doing this, that's our high knees. The third one is butt kicks. I want to keep my foot either flexed or pointed, and then try to drag my heel in towards my bum as much as possible. So it looks like this. Our fourth exercise is going to be the lunge reach. For this, we're going to lunge to the side, reach with our hands, and then bring our hands down to meet our knees, like this. Use your abs to pull your leg in, and lean heavily on that standing leg. Here's the other side. Because this one has 2 sides, when you're doing this, you're going to do the first half to one side and the second half to the other. Our fifth exercise are going to be squat punches. Come down to a nice low squat. I like to keep my knees and my feet turned out just a little bit for this one. Bring your hands in towards your rib cage, so we're a little bit higher here, and then punch forward. And our last exercise are jumping jacks. You should know this one. Looks like this. So, we're going to do this whole thing, again, 3 times through. Each exercise is going to be done for 30 seconds. So we'll do all 6 in a row, take a 1-minute break, loop back, and do it twice more. All right? I'm going to show you one section through, and we'll go from there. Okay, so if you guys thought that was fun, but you want a little bonus yummy on top of that, here's another exercise that you can do. We're gonna do the whole thing, but add a line of text to the top of it. It's gonna help us with projection, volume, and of course, doing outdoor theater. So here we go, 30 seconds. Friends, Romans, countrymen, lend me your ears. I come to bury Caesar, not to praise him. The evil that men do lose after them, the good is oft interred with their bones. So let it be with Caesar. Now we're gonna repeat. Friends, Romans, countrymen, lend me your ears. I come to bury Caesar, not to praise him. The evil that men do lives after them, the good is oft interred with their bones. So let it be with Caesar. Whew. So that's a bonus add-on that you can do during any of these 6 exercises or all of them. Great way to add a little extra kick to that warm-up. Thank you so much for joining me today on At Home with SCP. I really hope you enjoyed that warm-up. I know I do. It's one that I do before almost every show, and it makes me feel ready for my next performance, and I know it will for you as well. If you like this video, go ahead and give us a like and then share it with all of your friends. And if you want to record your own warm-up at home and share it with us, then make sure to use the hashtag @HomeSCP so we can find it too. Again, thank you so much for joining in, and we hope to see you soon. Stay safe and have a great day. Bye.